this podcast is for the brokenhearted, and I know it's super easy to blame the person that's quote unquote making you feel a certain way as to the reason why you feel the way that you do, right? Which is pretty much everybody could relate to that, right? Feeling a certain way, and then it being someone else's fault that you feel that way, you know? So, I mean, I was talking to my mom on the phone today, and I was like, yo, the greatest blessing in my life was getting heartbroken, like severely. Depression, suicidal, all that shit, you know? Like, it was a blessing because of the things that I learned from it. Now, of course, like, you could gather wisdom without having to get your ass kicked by life. Like, you could pick up a book, you know, do some reading, or you could even listen to people that are 50 years older than you. You know, I was listening to a Ty Lopez video. He was like, man, I was listening to someone who's like 50 years older than me, and they gave me some advice. And then with 1 hour of their time, they just saved me 50 years with whatever they had to say, you know? So stuff like that, there's multiple ways to learn. Most people learn through life kicking their ass, adversity, you know what I mean? So there's this quote that says, if you have a good friend that won't listen to you, let adversity teach him. You know, there's another quote that says, life is the best student. Unfortunately, it kills all of his, life is the best teacher. Unfortunately, it kills all of his students. So yeah, man, anyways, the problem with me was, it wasn't the person that broke my heart. The problem is, why am I so damn breakable? You know, like if you buy an expensive ass, if you buy $1,000 phone, you drop it on concrete once without a case, but let's say it shatters into pieces. That's a fragile phone. It's, it's obviously not durable, and you would not, like, whatever excuses the company has as to why that happened, you wouldn't care. You'd be like, yo, I spent $1,000 on a phone. It dropped once and shattered into pieces. Like, I want my money back. That's a weak ass phone, But when it comes to ourselves and our own personality, we never say, man, someone said something they shouldn't have, and I cried for 2 hours over it. We never consider ourselves, man, I must be a weak ass person for someone to say one or two sentences and 2 hours later, I'm still crying over it. We don't consider ourselves weak in those moments. We actually justify being there, and we justify our sensitivity level and say that we was created that way. And if people were different, we would be different. If people would have done better, we would have felt different. You know what I mean? Always making it about people changing so that we could be okay. And that's the trap. You know what I'm saying? Like, that trap, if you think like that, you bring that destructive nature into every relationship you get into. And now you always have something to need instead of something to give, But when you're fulfilled, when you know your life purpose, and when nobody could make you feel like someone's trying to make you feel like crap, like, what does that mean? Like, so if they succeed in making you feel like crap, like, first, you probably value their opinion a lot, what they have to say about you, what they think about you, and their opinion means so much to you that it has the power to upset you, change the course of your day. Give me a second. So yeah, so if that's true, then when are you ever in control of how you feel? You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's all based on circumstance and how people treat you, like, sometimes we're drinking out of dry cups. We wonder why we're thirsty. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe the person you're drinking out of is a dry cup. And what I mean is, when people are not one with God, like mindset wise, personality wise, character wise, they have nothing to offer you. Like, before, like, for those people that are Christian for their own sake and not for the sake of others, those people have nothing to offer you, because they go to God for what they could get out of God, for the blessings, for the provision. God, take me to heaven when I die. But none of it is about loving people now or helping people now. In fact, the people that we're disgusted by are the people that we are the least likely to want to share the gospel with, because we don't like those people. They bother me, but I'll stay over here because this is my clique. You know what I mean? So even for me, man, like, when I was Christian for myself, I had nothing to offer you because it was all about me. I was such a needs-driven person. And because of that, if I go any relationship I get into being a needs-driven person, I'm always going to have something to need instead of something to give. But if I feel fulfilled, like, if I feel complete, by myself, and it doesn't make me like an island onto myself, because some people might hear this and be like, oh, what are you saying? You don't need people? No, what I'm saying is, I don't need people to know who I am. Like, some people, like, people might misread your character or not trust your intentions and feel like you had wicked intentions, and you might get offended by that. Like, yo, I thought you knew me. I thought we were in tight. Like, how could you question my integrity? You know what I mean? Like, how could you say that I'm not this or I'm not that? And it's like, yo, if you know who you are, it'll never matter that someone just questioned your integrity, because you know who you are. You know what I mean? And you know it so much that it doesn't matter if your dad knows it, if your mom knows it, if your ex-wife, ex-husband, kids know it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know, man. Like I think I shared this before. One of the weird prayers, some people might call it a weird prayer. I've been praying for adversity, praying for people, to meet people that are disgusting, people that are terrible, people that, you know what I'm saying, people that society wants nothing to do with, you know, because when I read the Bible, it seems to be those are the people that Jesus spent most of his time with, you know what I mean? So much so that somebody was like, yo, like, why is a righteous man sitting with a bunch of sinners? And he was like, I didn't come for the saved. I came for the, you know, for the sinners. I came for the brokenhearted. I came for the, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. I don't know. I be talking to God. I'd be like, yo, whoever the people are that are terrible, that no one wants nothing to do with, like, send them to me. Like, I want to learn how to view them the same way you do, because that's the only place that there's freedom. You know, there's no freedom in easily getting annoyed. You know, that anyone who, if you're easily annoyed, it's only one reason, is because you have a bunch of criteria that people need to meet in order for you to be good, which means all it takes is for some random person to not meet your criteria, and then that's it. You're positioned for frustration, misery. You go to your damn doctor and they tell you you're bipolar. Get rid of your expectation, and whatever bipolar syndrome, quote unquote, that you have, that shit will fade away without you even having to try to change it. It'll change with your new belief system on people, you know, because when you believe that everybody who's alive is worth something, whether they know it or not, and whether they're walking a million miles away from their full potential, you know, or not, like, once you know that they're worth something and you really believe that, how could you get offended at them not living up to what they're, you know what I'm saying, what they're supposed to be or what they could be, you know? If, like, people who live less than their potential, they just don't believe better. You know, whatever your mindset is, that's to the extent of your, how you live, you know? And then your life reflects your mindset, you know? So anybody who lives in abundance, it's obvious that at one point they had an abundant mindset, because nobody's going to be a millionaire and have a lot of money that doesn't believe that's possible. Because if you don't believe, you'll never take the leap of faith to find out how possible it is, or to do the research, or to put in the work that it takes to be one, you know? Like, to the, you know how many people believe they're always going to be offended, they're always going to be brokenhearted, they're always going to be, and to the people that say that, you know, I was watching a video the other day, a guy was like, yo, sometimes poor people be like, I'm always going to be poor. And then the next thing he said was, and then the word becomes flesh, you know, then the poor people's word become flesh, which means they become a product of what they say they have to be based on their, you know, they keep repeating the same lies to themselves, because it's the same lies that probably they heard their parents grow up saying, that, you know, creating the scarcity mindset. Like, I watched this Grant Cardone video. His mom used to slam his plate in front of him and say, eat it all. And, like, with a sense of anxiety in her voice, and she was conveying a message unconsciously that there's scarcity, there's not a lot of food on this planet, whatever food you have, be super grateful for it, which, you know, makes sense. Yeah, like, gratitude, it's good to have gratitude. But, you know, he said that the message that he feels like she was communicating to him was, you better eat all your food, because I don't have disposable income to buy more food, or I don't have, you know what I mean? Everything was out of scarcity because of how they lived, you know? And as soon as his dad died, his dad was a salesman and they was doing okay. But after his dad died, they had to sell the house. And less than 6 months later, financially, they wasn't doing okay, you know? And his dad always said, yo, if you want a lot of money, be a salesman. You know, he taught him about, you know, sales and stuff like that. But he said that, you know, the message that his mom was conveying to him by slamming the plate of food on the table and saying, eat it all, was a message of scarcity, a message of not enough, a message of, you know, yo, when you flow out of abundance, like, not just financially, but emotionally, like, when you just have so much to give instead of anything to need, you become such an asset to people instead of a liability, you know? And when I reflect on my past relationships, I was nothing but a liability. Nobody likes liabilities. That's something you have to take care of. It's not something that takes care of you. You know, I was such a needs-driven person. Like, always needed people to say nice things and people to be considerate and people to... Now I need no man to do anything. Now if someone curses me out and says your mother should die and so should your grandmother, like, it's not, I'm not going to get mad at that, because first of all, they must not be in a good place if they have time to be that negative towards me. It's an indication of how they're doing mentally. Yo, like if anybody curses you out and treats you like crap, they're not okay. You know what I'm saying? And if you ever start having, damn, people almost got in a car accident in front of me. If you ever start having sympathy or empathy for the person and trying to really, like reach out to them and be like, yo, like, how you doing, man? Like, what's up, Dion? And really, really wanting to talk to people that seem to be treating you quote unquote unfairly. I was talking on the phone with my mom, and I told her, I was like, yo, the greatest blessing in my life was when someone broke my heart. My 6 years of depression, that's the greatest blessing of my life. I know that doesn't make sense to a lot of you hearing this, whether you're live or on a replay. The reason 6 years of depression is a blessing is because of what it taught me. It taught me not to have expectations, it taught me, like, you know what I mean? Like, I started finding mentors. A lot of the stuff that you hear me say on these podcasts is not from me. Like, it's not original. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be cool to think that I came up with this stuff on my own, but I have like 5 to 6 different mentors. One for finances, one for emotions, one for spirituality, one for, just one. I learned different things from different people, but I had to hear this message over and over and then just reflect on my life as I hear this message. And it just made sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, man. I just really believe that the problem was not me being brokenhearted, or the problem was not she broke my heart. You know what I mean? The problem is I had expectations in her that were failed. And because she failed my expectations, and she's not the creator of my expectations, I'm the creator of them, which means if I create my own expectations, I also create my own disappointment, because you can never be disappointed if you don't expect anything. You know what I'm saying? And when you become obsessed with, instead of laying down the ground rules and standards on how you think things should happen all the time and everything is regulated and so legalistic, instead of being that type of person, if you become obsessed with being adaptable and saying, yo, when life doesn't go the way I want it to, cool, like I'll just adapt. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, if you're a sailor, you can't get mad at the water for splashing so violently. Your ass better learn how to sail. You know what I'm saying? Like, learn how to navigate the seas. Like, the water is gonna be the water. Sometimes we get mad at people for being what they are at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's a lot. I say this a lot. Like, there's a lot of messed up people out there. They're behaving in a way that I don't think that they were created to act, but they're being influenced by so many different things, by things on TV, the music they listen to, the friends that they have. And most people are a product of their environment instead of being a product of what they decide they want to be, or you know what I'm saying, like, to deciding your own fate, or your own, how you feel, or other people decide for you how you feel today, which means for you to feel good today, people have to treat you well, which means it's completely predicated on how other people act, how you're going to feel. You know what I'm saying? And we justify that. We normalize that. And that's why we normalize offense and being broken and being sad. And it's like, well, I would have never felt this way if you never said those words. And you think the problem is that they said certain words that hurt your feelings. That's not the problem. The problem is, why are you breakable? You're breakable because you need people to say certain things for you to be okay. You're breakable because you have expectations. And people are constantly feeling them. That's why you always have issues and not a move of the spirit. You know what I'm saying? That's why you're never emotionally stable, because you have expectations and you have these demands, because you're alive for yourself. You're alive for circumstance to be ideal. You're alive for your circumstances. Everything has to pass through your permission. And from that place, life is miserable. If everything has to pass, then the way people behave has to pass through your permission. And then, and it's like, there's just so many, there's something about, like, when you learn how to be apathetic towards the things that really don't matter, because apathy is a strong emotion. Apathy is the ability to not give a damn. It's powerful if you know how to apply that. If you don't know how to apply it, you start applying it to everything, and then you get nihilistic, as if nothing matters. And then you apply, like, apathy to every circumstance that there is. And then you just, live a meaningless life because you believe that all things are meaningless. And whatever your mindset is, your life is going to reflect how you think. So if you think everything is meaningless, you're going to behave in that type of way. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, yeah, like, when kids get bullied, right? And then they shoot up a school, like, it's tragic events, and it seems to be more of that happening. But, I don't think the problem is that this is going to be a strong statement. I don't think the problem is that they was bullied. I think the problem is that they think that they have to slaughter a whole school to try to avenge whatever bad happened to them. And they don't, that's the problem is that they think a good coping mechanism is to get in an assault rifle and go to school with it and shoot a lot of people. The problem is, why is that their coping mechanism? How come they don't know how to be like, we have seminars, and like we'll talk to kids, and we'll tell them, yo, don't bully people because you don't know what it's causing them or what it's doing to them. Instead of having the reverse type of talk where it's like, yo, you're probably going to be bullied. You're probably going to be, what I'm saying, bottom of the victim pile. But when people do stuff to you, here's how to properly respond, how to properly respond without them getting a response out of you. You know what I'm saying? But instead, you responding in a loving manner, like in a way that they can't destroy you. They can't decide how you feel. They can't, what I'm saying? They can't bring out a reaction out of you that's ungodly. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know, man. There's like, so yeah, if you teach kids that, like, yo, like, people are probably going to try to bully you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was watching a video, right, where this dude, he's like 55. He got beat up by a 9-year-old. This 9-year-old kid took off running. What time is it? All right, I got 20 minutes. This 9-year-old kid took off running from the church, and he had to go chase after this kid. And and then he caught up to this 9-year-old kid. He grabbed him, and then the kid just started wailing on him, just punch him in the face and making him bleed and stuff. And this 9-year-old kid, he really liked this pastor. You know what I mean? This was somebody that, this little kid, like, every time he preached, like, he always stood right next to him. He always followed this guy around because he really liked this particular pastor. And his first instinct, the pastor's instinct, was to restrain the kid. Oh, hey, Zoeda, how you doing? Appreciate, yo, I didn't even know you was live listening. I love you guys, man. What's up, David? I didn't know y'all was here. Yo, it's good to see y'all, man. Yo, yeah, I just learned a lot, man. Like, yo, people used to break my heart, and I thought the problem was that people were doing things to me. That's not the problem. The problem is me being weak as hell. Why am I so fucking weak? That's the problem. Because if I continue being weak, my next partner, my next girlfriend, she's gonna have the same ability to break my heart in the same ways that the last one broke my heart. Because I'm gonna have the same expectations. I'm gonna still believe that she's alive to meet my needs, and it's like, why am I such a needs-driven person? That's where life is miserable, from that place, from selfishness. You know what I mean? So, and that's why, like, when I talk about, like, the Bible and stuff, like, a lot of people, you never heard the gospel the way that it was supposed to be preached. The way people hear the gospel, I just want to tell you this real quick, is in a way that Jesus died for your sins so that you could go to heaven. It's like God is not here to put you in a bubble and make sure that nobody hurts your feelings. He's, like, he created you so that you could look like him, God's image. God is love, and God is not a vacuum. Like, God is, God is not falling apart in heaven just because people don't want to follow him, or people hate him, or people are backbiting or gossiping or talking crap about him all day. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of us, yo, if we find out somebody's talking badly about us, yo, it's like, yo, wait till I see this dude in person, man. I can't wait to fight this person. And it's like, what's going to change after you fight them? After you kick their ass, there's still going to be somebody that you don't like. They're going to dislike you even more. Now they have more to say about you. What are you going to, like, hospitalize every person that talks about you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, celebrities would never try to fight every person that writes a personal blog about them. You know how many people celebrities would be fighting? There's millions of people talking bad about Eminem and Rihanna and stuff. And I guess when we're famous, like, we justify not giving attention to trolls on the internet, because I guess it makes more sense not to waste time, you know what I mean, on people that hate us, But even if you're not famous, even if it's one person talking bad about you, how is it a good use of our time having so much to say in response to what they have to say about us? Because usually, here's how it goes. You hear someone's talking about you. They're like, oh, the nerve of this person to talk about my life when they don't even have this together. And then you start listing off the things that they should do better. And then you're no different than the person that's talking about you. Like, how are you any different than them? Because as soon as you heard they were talking about you, you started talking about them, which makes you identical to them. You're just like them. You know what I'm saying? How were you ever... You know what I mean? Like, that's why when you walk out the example of how you think people should live, and you just live that life, your life speaks more volume than your words do. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I don't know where I was like 2 minutes ago before I realized how many people were listening live, but I just learned so much, yo. Like, nobody's ever going to break my heart, and it's not going to be because I have a wall of protection around it. It's not because I need to protect my heart and be cautious. It's not because I don't need to be cautious at all. I dropped the thing that made me breakable, which was my expectation. Like, like I said a couple minutes ago, like, if you're the creator of your own expectation, you're also the creator of your own disappointment. Remove the expectation and you will remove disappointment, because I promise you, every time you've ever been upset, something didn't go your way. You know what I'm saying? And if you need things to go your way, then life is going to be hell. because the only times you're good in life is when circumstance is good, and circumstance is determining how you feel instead of you determining how you feel, which means, like, man, like, and the devil's gonna have the time of his life with you. You know what I mean? If the devil finds out that anything is more important to you than your relationship with God, that becomes the target. Whether it's your kids, your job, how much you get paid, your plans, whatever it is, man. Like, some people think when they get their ducks in a row, they're gonna be okay. And then just when your ducks start aligning into perfect, like, they're perfectly synchronized and everything looks like, they're lining up perfectly, the devil's just going to take a fucking shotgun and shoot at the ducks and scatter them. And then you're going to, like, get mad and, and it's going to, it's going to get a reaction out of you again. You know what I mean? And then you're like, yo, this happened to me. This happened to me again. Like, yo, like, like sometimes, like, we come home and we be like, yo, you're on the couch watching TV again. You know what I mean? Like, you're doing this again. Like, you didn't return my text message again. You didn't return my phone call again. Like, it only shows the people that you're saying this to that you're holding such an account of what they did wrong to you, and when you read Corinthians, it says love doesn't hold an account of suffered wrong. You know what I mean? It doesn't have 35 journal entries of how many times somebody did you wrong. You know what I mean? Because if you're doing that, it means you'll never be able to love that person from that place, because all you're doing with your time is holding them so accountable for how they should have known better. And they should have never, you know what I mean, did you wrong or failed you or said certain words to you. And it's like, I don't know, man, like when you get empathy, like when you start being empathetic, you start realizing, yo, like when you push someone's buttons or you try to provoke somebody and then they say something unreasonable to you, yo, you provoke them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that does happen a lot. Like, when you try to get a reaction, some of us try to get a reaction out of somebody, and then you get a reaction that you didn't want, and then you're mad at the reaction you got. But damn it, you provoked them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like what do you like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and sometimes, I really believe that the laws of sowing and reaping, a lot of times we sow more than what we reap most of the time. But that's for the good and for the bad. Sometimes you talk shit about somebody's mother and you end up dying the next day over that, Sometimes you talk shit about someone's mom and the most they're going to do is talk shit about yours, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends. Like, like you might reap more than what you sow. So, like, and sometimes, like, I know a kid, right? I know this guy. He went to wrestling school and people were like conspiring against him and threatening to call his school and say, hey, I know where you go to school. I'm gonna just tell your school that you're a potential school shooter, and then you're gonna get kicked out of your school, and then this is gonna happen. And he was like so worried about that. And he was like, bro, all I did was like call them a nigger. That's all I did. And I'm like, bro, that's offensive to people. You can't be using that word, dude. And he was like, yeah, well, it's just a word. Like, they don't have to call my school and conspire against me to get me kicked out of school or make it seem like I'm a school shooter. And I'm like, bro, like you got to understand the laws of sowing and reaping. Like, a lot of times you sow more than what you reap. I know that you feel like the consequences of your actions are unjustifiable, or like they're going out on a limb to go against you. But it's like sometimes when you come at somebody 15%, they come back at you 150,000%, just because that they have nothing better else to do with their time, just because they have justifications that make them resentful and they feel like getting even with you is a good use of their time. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, you never know who you're messing with. There was a girl, she was between the age of 18 years old and 23 years old. All she did, right? Well, somebody cut her off in traffic, and then she got in front of him and she cut him off intentionally, trying to teach him a lesson. And he wasn't having it. You know what he did? He pulled up in front of her again, making her stop her vehicle, got out of his car, shot her in the head, and drove away. Now, I know you think right now, like, how is that it's not, I'm not saying it's justifiable, but what I'm saying is, all he did was he cut her off. She hated it. She had some road rage. She cut him off to try to get even, and then got shot in the head for trying to get even. And it's like, yo, you never know who's riding around the city just having a bad day. Like, there's people who ride around with a weapon saying, God, I hope somebody tests my fucking patience today so I could end somebody's life, because I've had it with life anyways. I don't care about my life, nor do I care about anyone else's. I pray that someone tries to press my buttons so I could fucking shoot them for no reason. Like, you think there's not people that drive around thinking that? It doesn't, so I don't know, man. And I don't know. I guess the reason that I know how to come up with these scenarios is because I've studied a lot of psychotic people, and I've been psychotic as hell myself, man. If I read you some of the poems I wrote when I was upset, it's crazy, man. Like, the person that broke my heart, I used to want to kill this person, man. I used to really want to torture them to death slowly. Like, and I used to vividly imagine myself having fun doing that. Shit is crazy, man. And maybe that's why I know how to relate to fucking psychotic people. Because there was a time when those thoughts were normal to me. Why? Because I was offended. Why was I offended? Because I was alive for myself, for people to be what I need them to be, for me to be okay. And those people are never okay. Those people that have expectations. You know what I'm saying? Like, so give me a second. About the old man and the 9-year-old boy. Oh, thank you. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for bringing me back on track. Yeah. So, yo, this old man was 55 years old. There was a 9-year-old boy, right? And he ran out of the church like for no reason. So the he caught up to the boy, grabbed him, and the boy turned around and started punching him in the face, and his face is bleeding and stuff. And this boy really liked that pastor, And then he was like, the pastor was just taking it, like he was just letting him beat him up, you know. And I know that sounds like crazy and stuff, but the thing that happened was that boy was never the same again. It actually changed the boy because when he opened his eyes and he realized who he was punching in the face, I think his eyes were closed the whole time. He was like, damn, I did it to this person. And he instantly started crying. And then the man was like, don't worry, man. Like, I still love you. Like, I don't take it personal. Like, you're still loved. You're still, you know, like, we're still friends. You're still my buddy. And that broke the little kid's heart so much that it changed him. You know what I'm saying? Love changes people when you give people what they don't deserve. We're so excited to give people what they deserve, which is like, maybe judgment or punishment, or someone does a crime. And you know what I mean? The way I hear people talk about people, man, like, you guys know Ex Tentacion rapper, like he died, well, not recently, but people was like, yo, he deserves to die, whatever. He was a woman beater. You know what I'm saying? Like, all woman beaters should be hung by their nuts backwards. Like, and it's like, bruh, like, if you got into a fight with a girl, right? If you're a dude, if you got into an argument with a girl, let's say somehow she triggered you so bad to the point you gave her a black eye, you would hope to God that someone doesn't castrate you or hang you by your nuts. You know what I'm saying? So like, we want other people to suffer in a way that we would never want to, like, to endure that type of punishment, but yet we think it's cool to wish that upon other people. You know what I'm saying? So for me personally, I never try, not consciously anyway, I'm never consciously trying to put bad energy into the world that I don't want to receive, or casting the types of judgment that I wouldn't want to receive. Because, to the same level that you judge people is to the same level that you're going to be judged, by other people. So in all the areas where you have no mercy towards people, and then you're in a place where you need mercy and you don't receive it, you're going to wish that people were merciful. But you spent 50 years not being that way, but now you want it. You know what I'm saying? But you don't want other people to have it because they deserve punishment, or they deserve their penis to be cut off because they committed such and such a crime, or they deserve, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, what about the stuff you deserve? You know what I'm saying? Like, so these judgments that we have is usually a self-righteous judgment of comparing ourselves to other people as if we're that much more magnificent than whoever else we're comparing ourselves to. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think just because you had a job for 30 years and someone's 30 years old and they just got their job today for the first time in their life, that you're more significant than that man. You know what I'm saying? You think just because you have mad money in your bank account and someone doesn't, that you're more significant, or you think, you know what I'm saying? And yo, like, these type of opinions that we be having, it destroys the people that have these opinions. It doesn't serve you to think less of people. You know what I'm saying? Because then every time you think about the people that frustrate you, you get frustrated. You know what I'm saying? And isn't it crazy how somebody could violate you one time and you feel the effects of it happening 1,000 times if you only visualize it 1,000 times? It might as well had happened 1,000 times to you, because you're going to emotionally feel the same effects as if it was. Do you know that the brain can't tell the difference between something you vividly imagine and something you're actually experiencing? That's why when you start having a panic attack or anxiety, whatever you're having anxiety or a panic attack about, whether or not that event is actually taking place or not doesn't matter, because to your brain it's all the same shit. Because if you visualize it as if it's real, it becomes real to you. It might as well be real, because you're collapsing from a panic attack as if it is actually happening. You know what I'm saying? The brain can't decipher the difference. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I said a lot, but let's see how much time I got. I was supposed to work at 8 o'clock. I might extend my shift to like 8:30. Hold on, give me a second, yo. I apologize. Alright, yo, I'm back. I don't know if you guys can hear me. What's up, Austin? What's going on, bro? So yeah, man, like, I was on a lot of stuff just now, but so I want to talk. Basically, it's just, this podcast is no different than a lot of my other ones. If you heard one, you've heard them all pretty much. I mean, the only things that are ever new are the new stories that I've heard or new videos that I watched that I talked about. But it's usually the same premise, which is dying to yourself and not having expectations. Because when you don't expect nothing from people, there's no way that they could behave that's gonna push. You know what's so incredible? You could treat me like shit from now until next year, and I'm gonna be okay. Like, you can't get a reaction out of me. Why? Because I don't need you to behave in a ordinary matter. Or you know why people that are completely out of their mind bother you? Is because you expect them to be within their mind. That's why anybody outside of their mind bothers you, because they're not living up to what you think they should be. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know. Like, so when I meet psychopathic people, I try to love everybody to the best of my ability. You know what I'm saying? And just see them for what they could be, what's possible. You know, because when you see men, when you only give yourself permission to see men for what's possible in their life, like the good things, you won't get bothered by their mediocrity anymore. Because you won't even see them as mediocre people. Like, you of course, you're not going to be naive to the fact that that's what they are at the moment, but you don't believe that they were created to be mediocre as hell people. They became that over time. Maybe their environment was mediocre as hell. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, when you start understanding people, right? Because you want to, it's possible to understand people, you know? Like, I was watching this video, Jordan Peterson was like, he was trying to understand the mind of somebody who would, you know, like, the Auschwitz prison guards, which is from, like, you know, the whole thing with Hitler and 6 million Jews. He was trying to get inside the mind of a person who would torture another human being slowly to death and actually enjoy that. You know, he was trying to understand that type of thinking. And some people were like, why would you want to understand that? Why would you ever want to take yourself to that dark of a place? You know, and he was, you know, some people don't even believe it's possible to go there unless you're actually already psychopathic. And it's like, nah, you could go there, you know, if you read the articles and you read the journal entries, you know, the Columbine killers, they told you exactly why they killed those people. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes we read these journal entries and we think that's not the reason. And it's like, nah, you know, I think the reason they did it is the reason they told you they did it. Like, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, so we try to make up all these other reasons, like, yo, they were bullied and they weren't treated fairly. Maybe if people loved them, maybe if people, you know what I'm saying? We always make it the issue that people are not doing us right, and that's why we never feel right, you know? So I don't know, man. So when you need no man, when nobody's alive for you, when you believe that, and you don't need nobody to do anything for you to be okay, you're okay just waking up. You know what I'm saying? Like, your relationship with God, like, nobody could distract you from your relationship with God. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't make you an island onto yourself. It doesn't make you like estranged from other people and all of a sudden you don't need anybody. Not like that. That's not how I mean it. But what I'm saying is, you don't need people to believe in your dream. You know how many people, how many males or females or whatever, people that want to be artists or drawers or painters, and they're so brokenhearted that their own parents don't believe in them. You know what I'm saying? Like, your own parents told you that you suck as an artist and you're never going to make it. And that actually has power to make you feel bad. But why does it make you, first of all, if you believe it, why would you ever feel bad? Like, if you believe in your own potential, if you believe that you could be all that you say you could be, why would someone else not agreeing with that assessment of yourself? Like, why would that bother you? Like, why do we desperately need people to believe in us? You know, we don't ask these type of questions. Instead, we rather ask, why are people not believing in us? Maybe because you haven't given them something to believe in. Maybe because they're just cynical. They're just pessimistic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you think that a hawk is going to think the way that a worm does? Do you think a tiger shares the same thoughts as a rat? Like, do you think, you see what I mean? Like, you know, and I'm not saying people are rats or worms, but what I'm saying is, like, your gifts, your talents, your abilities, they were given to you. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're supposed to understand why you have it. Nobody else is, like, you know, and if you have a vision that no one else understands, maybe that vision wasn't given to them, you know? And a lot of you people that have dreams, the people that you're mad that don't disagree, it's not like they're not even on the same path as you. It's not like they're co-laboring with you towards the accomplishment of your dream. Like, this is a journey that you've set out for yourself. So why are you getting mad at people that are not on the same path as you for not believing in you? They're not even on the same path as you. They're not even working towards the same goals. They don't even have the same belief system. They don't even, you know what I'm saying? Like, we get so sad that sometimes your own household hates you, and sometimes the best friends that you have, you met them on fucking AOL and AIM and fucking, man, that's old. No one uses AIM anymore. But shit, if you're old like me, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Or Facebook Messenger. Like, sometimes your best friends, or sometimes the people you meet on the internet, that's more of your brother and your sister than your actual brothers and sisters. And you might get mad at that. Like, why is it, how come it's not this way? And why this? And why, you know, and you're just going to torment yourself trying to put the world into a box and trying to put the world into well, the world should be this way, and I'm not going to be happy until it is, which means you're never going to be happy, because if you think that this planet is going to conform to the way that you are, instead of you having to conform to the way that it is, you know what I'm saying? Or learn how to navigate through it without complaining every day of your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I stopped complaining because I realized it was a direct threat to my happiness. If you pay attention to miserable people, they complain at least once a day, you know, at least for like 2 hours or more, complaining about the government, Donald Trump and his tweets and his subtweets, and this person said this and this person thought that. And it's like, what does any of that have to do with your potential or your destiny or the shit that you're supposed to accomplish before you die? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't know why you're alive, and if you don't know the things that you're supposed to accomplish before you die, the last thing you should be doing is worrying about what another man got going on with his wife, and how come he's not treating his wife well, and how come his kids are doing this, and how come, and it's like, bro, how come you have such a purposeless, meaningless life? Like, and not that you have no purpose, you haven't realized it yet. You haven't even tried to look for it, because you're so busy entertaining yourself, watching 8 hours of Netflix per day, 10 hours of video games per. Nothing wrong with escapism, but sometimes we spend 90% of our free time escaping from a life that we hate, instead of creating a life that we need no escape from, because we love the life that we live so much. So now no escape from our life is necessary. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, people ask me all the time, how come you don't drink? How come you don't do drugs, LSD? How come you don't do mushrooms? Yo, I love life, bro, because I love life. The question is, how come you don't love life as much as I do, to the point where you don't feel like you need drugs anymore? You know what I'm saying? Like, how come you need drugs to be happy? How come you need alcohol to feel okay? Like, you know, that the problem is not that you need alcohol because life sucks. The problem is, why is that your coping mechanism? You know what I'm saying? Like, how come you can't be happy without that stuff? You know, how is destroying your body a good use of your time? And some of you might be like, yo, we're all gonna die anyways, so you might as well smoke cigarettes. You might as well smoke crack. You might as well. And it's like, bro, like, yeah, we're all gonna die, but I'm not trying to, you know, I'm not trying to quicken the process. Like, I'm trying to live as long as possible. I don't know about everybody else, but, you know, and I don't know. Another thing I want to talk about, right? It really scares me when I meet Christian people that they always like, yo, I can't wait for Jesus to come back today, like today. And usually they say it out of frustration because they had a terrible last fucking day, and they just need Jesus to come today so that they could be saved and they could go to heaven, and they don't have to deal with people because they're so annoyed by people. And then they complain about people and they think the issue is people. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people be like, yo, God, you should tweak people. You should just adjust people. Like, you know, what's one of the most self-righteous judgments that a person can have is when you start saying stuff like, God, why can't you just change people? The people that act this way, if you would just change them, the world would be a better place. What makes you think that you're not on the list of people that if you would change, the world would be a better place? What makes you think you're not on that list? When you're self-righteous, you exclude yourself from the list of people that need to change, not realizing that the biggest stumbling block you've ever had in your life is you. The biggest problem I've ever had in my life is me. It's never other people. It's never that people are inconsiderate. It's never that people are unlovely or unlikable. None of that. The problem is, why am I so breakable? Why am I so offended? The problem is not that people are so offensive. Why am I so affected? Why do people's words, you know what I mean? And now that I realize, now that I have a filter, now that I say to myself, your words don't mean a damn to me unless I say that it means something. You know how powerful that is? That means that if you tell me to kill myself right now, fuck you, Robert, I don't like you, I'm not going to care that you said that to me, you know, like, and I'm going to realize, first of all, that's an indication that you're in a bad place. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you're not living up to all that you could be, because everybody who's executing on their potential, on their destiny and everything that's possible for them, they don't have time to try to make people feel less than, because they're too busy chasing a dream, or too busy manifesting all that there could be, or they're too busy, way too busy to spend time being cynical and negative towards other people and trying to put somebody down. You know what I'm saying? Some of these cynical people, the highlight of their day is putting you down. There's something twisted about that. You got to understand that these people are not okay. You know what I'm saying? And when you start having empathy, mercy, patience, you start loving the people that try to treat you like that, not loving them because they treat you bad, but loving them because you realize they have no idea what they were created to be. Because if they had any, like, the people who violated you, if they were connected to God, they would have never violated you. The people that raped you, the people that abused you, the people that treated you like shit, if they were if they were half of what they could be, they would have never treated you the way that they did. You know what I'm saying? When you know that for real, you don't get offended anymore at people that treat you less than, and you never fail to see them for what they could be, even though they don't even see their own value, or they don't see you for what you could be, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? The most amazing thing about Jesus, to me, in my opinion, is regardless of how other men treated him, he never lost sight of what men were created for. even though they were living a million miles away from their full potential. You know what I mean? And that's why, for as many years as have passed since the beginning, man has never been able to change God. But over the years, God is still changing man. Why? Because he never lose sight of what he created man to be, even when they're mediocre as hell, even when men are beating their girlfriends and raping people and, and murderers and whatever, like all the worst stuff you could think of. You know what I'm saying? Like you might be like, yo, how can God love a murderer? Simple, because he doesn't view them as them being one. It's not that he's naive to the fact that they're murdering. He just knows that once they realize their full potential, they're going to start walking out their destiny, their potential, because your mindset reflects your belief system. So if there's a murderer out here always killing people, it shows you his mindset towards humanity. He doesn't give a damn about people. He doesn't think that people are worth anything. Can you imagine if he believed that everybody was worth the blood of Jesus? You know what I'm saying? If everybody was worth sacrifice, if you're Christian, come on, man. Because there's even Christian people that will look people and flare their nostrils up at people that they dislike as if they're not worth the blood of Jesus, but other people are. And it's like, bruh, so that's why, I talk about, when I was Christian for myself, I didn't have nothing to offer you when I was Christian for me, because I got baptized to go to heaven, not because I give a damn about you. You know what I'm saying? And it was all about me, all of my relationships, all of my everything, like all the feedback that I gave people. It was always manipulating them into being a way that is more pleasant to me. It was never, I would never give advice, you know what I'm saying, for the sake of the person. It was always for my sake. And because of that, you bring selfishness into anything, it destroys everything. It destroys the businesses that we try to build, the relationships we try to have. You know what I'm saying? Because all of our words, it's towards getting a certain reaction out of somebody or getting a certain response out of somebody. There's so many business people on Facebook that will message you and try to get you to join their business opportunity. And your reaction to them is, who the fuck are you? Like, I just met you today. You're already trying to pitch me your opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of you, do you meet a girl? And 5 minutes later, you're trying to drag her to your bedroom? Dude, romance a girl first. You know what I'm saying? Damn, can she know your name before you try to ask her to come to your bedroom? It wouldn't make sense for you to meet a girl and think that 10 minutes later you're going to have sex. Why does it make sense to the entrepreneurs out here that pitch their business opportunity and you think that 10 minutes later someone's going to join they don't know who the fuck you are. They don't know who you are, and they know that the only reason you're in their inbox is because if you join their business opportunity, it benefits them. Not because you give a fuck about the person. It's not because your products and your services are so valuable that you can't wait to share it. You know what I'm saying? That's why, for me personally, this whole entrepreneur stuff is cool, but I can't promote something that I don't believe in. I was talking to somebody the other day that he was talking about corporate America, and he says that you have to step on people's heads in order to get to the top. Nice guys finish last. And it's like, why does everybody push that agenda? If you spend all your time stepping on people's heads, at the end of the day, you have no business partners. Nobody wants to be around you. You know what I'm saying? You want to be around someone who's stepping on your head all day, and it's like, don't you think that if you are actually a nice guy, people will want to come around you and they'll want to be around you? There's so many people, we have relatives and we have family and we have friends that they have the potential of being famous probably, but we don't give a fuck about them until they're famous. When they're famous, then we start calling them, you remember me? I sat across the classroom from you in 3rd grade in math class, as if that's supposed to hold any relevance now. And it's like, don't you know that the person's going to be like, yeah, but where were you when I was struggling? Where were you when I was, you know what I'm saying? People get famous and then we think that they owe us something just because we knew them 10 years ago. And we think them knowing us 10 years ago is supposed to hold some type of relevance to them today. You know what I'm saying? But the first thing they think about is, now you want to come around. Now you need something. Now, so don't you know, when you're a nice guy, when you're not scared to give your time to people, to really edify, to really encourage, to really be there, don't you know that if you did your best to be somebody's friend and to do all that you could for them, don't you think if they make it to Hollywood, they would remember you just because you was always there from them? Why is it that sometimes you shake somebody's hand and you think they're your friend. You do a song with one person one time, you think they're your friend. You invite one individual to your house one time, you think they're your friend. No, man. Doesn't mean we're friends because we hung out once. Doesn't mean we're friends because you shook my hand. It doesn't mean that, people be having all types of weird, what's up, Jerome? All types of weird expectations, man. You got to talk to a human being more than twice to think that you're going to get something out of them. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's why I like Gary Vee. He has his one book. It's called Jab, 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 Right Hook. And the premise of it is give, and then ask. But so many people give and then expect. or give, and then take, So he's the one that taught me, like, there's an example that I use a lot of times. I got it from him, actually. He always says, if I gave somebody $1,000 and they turned it into 1 million, I don't feel like I now own their company. Like, there's so many egotistical people that if you gave somebody $1,000, you feel like you have full rights to their business because they turn your 1,000 into $1 million, and you feel so significant about the fact that it was your 1,000, not realizing that, yo, do you know how much skill and talent it takes to take $1,000 and turn it into $1 million? Like, it takes no skill and talent to take $1,000 and turn it into zero. That shit happens all the time. I mean, it's tax season now. There's plenty of people doing that right now. They're taking 5,000 and turning that into zero really quickly. You know what I'm saying? So, like the amount of skill that a human being has to have to take 1,000 and make it to 1 million. But yet, if we loan out $1,000 to a person and they turn it into $1 million, we feel so significant, as if we're the reason they succeeded, as if our $1,000 is so significant, as if they couldn't have gotten $1,000 from a fucking another person. You know what I mean? You think if you didn't answer the door to give them 1,000, they couldn't have got the same 1,000 and came to the same conclusion? Yo, if someone turns 1,000 into 1 million, they're a winner, with or without you. The problem, when you're egotistical and you're prideful, you're going to think that now they owe you a piece, or now they owe you so much, or now, yo, if I give someone $1,000, they turn into 1 million, I just don't give a fuck if they ever remember me, if they ever consider me, if they ever come back and give me half, or even give me the 1,000 that I gave them. I'm happy that they're winning. You know what I'm saying? And that's the energy that I'm going to put into the world. And because of that, I'm going to have zero time to be negative about people that are not doing me right, because I'm not alive for you to do me right. I'm not alive for you to say the right things. I'm not alive to hold you so accountable because I did 1,000 favors for you. Oh, you can't even do one favor for me? Yo, come on. Like, all the times I did this, and we'd remind people over and over, I did this for you. Really? I can't get that out of you? We're so fucking transactional with everything we do. Everything is a business. Like, everything is a unwritten contract or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? We hold people to such standards and morals and principles that everyone should be upholding. And if they don't, then we have issues. And if they do uphold them, then we're good. Like, what is that? That shit is weak, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like what I said at the beginning of this podcast, like, if you drop your phone once and it shatters into pieces, it's a weak ass phone. How come you're not a weak ass person when somebody says something they shouldn't have and you get offended? Like, I know this one guy who somebody was trying to preach veganism to him, and he didn't like their tonality. He didn't like the way they spoke to him, and it ruined his next 2 weeks. Isn't it crazy that someone could have that much of an impression on you that they ruin your day for that day? But not only that day, the next 2 weeks. Why? Because for the next 2 weeks, you obsess over how someone shouldn't have done something. And that's why I always say the most miserable people in this world are people that are obsessed with what should be happening and what shouldn't be happening. They don't know how to fucking adapt. That's why when shit happens that's not according to their standards, instead of adapting, they complain. They're like, man, well, it shouldn't have happened this way, and you shouldn't have did this. And it's like, yo, okay, yeah, it shouldn't have happened. But now that it happened, now what? What are you going to do? Sit there and complain about how it shouldn't have? You think you complaining about how it shouldn't have happened changed the facts that it did happen? You think you complaining about how you hate somebody's personality type changes the person? You think you complaining about how someone's so selfish and someone doesn't give a damn about people changes? What does it do? Like, for anything, for you, even for you, it does nothing for you. It destroys your day to complain about how other people spend their day. It's only destroying your day. Like, how is that a good use of your time? You know what I'm saying? Like, but these are the things that we don't really talk about, these things. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so passionate about these things because, like, this shit is so liberating for me. Like, I'm never going to have issues ever again. Not with people and not with circumstance. And I'm not saying that I'm like, it's not like I'm guaranteeing to myself that nothing bad is ever going to happen. You kidding me? Like, I got a ticket my car got towed one day. Got a ticket the next day. Got a ticket the next day again. And then got into a car accident after that. And I'm having the time of my life, yo. I'm still fucking excited to be alive. I'm not dreading this and, whoa, why, God, why me? Why is this happening to me? Like, I just got my job and now all of my money is going towards bills and expenses. You kidding me? Like, I'm so fucking happy to be alive. It's ridiculous. Like, if you think for 1 second that just because bad things are happening to me, I'm having a bad day, that's where you're wrong. Because I determine what type of fucking day I'm having, not my circumstance. And because I think like that, regardless of how messed up circumstances are, I'm not saying this messed up things won't happen to me. They're still going to happen to me just like they're going to happen to you. The thing is, I know how to deal with them now. Because I'm not alive for things to everything to go exactly my way. I'm here to look like God. I'm here to be love. I'm here to, not be so easily offended by people. I'm here to, you know what I'm saying? Like, to live out my purpose, my destiny, find out what's my potential and manifest that and be a walking example to every other human being as to what's fucking possible. Cause everyone's so pessimistic when it comes to having money or being emotionally stable, or I'm always going to have anxiety. I'm always going to be heartbroken. And for as long as you say that, your words become flesh. And now you're a product of what you tell yourself that you have to be. Now you're just as broken as you keep telling yourself that you have to be, because there's a million other broken ass people around you. And if you take their wisdom and if you take their lectures, then you'll be just like them. Make sure you study the people that are giving you advice. And if you don't like the life that they live, then you're positioning yourself to live the same type of life as them, because you're upholding their standards, their moral principles. I don't let anybody speak life into my life if what's coming out of their mouth is death. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a way that seems right to a man. Its ways always lead to death. You know what I'm saying? So there's a way, like, sometimes I remember one time I was talking to my brother. He was like, yo, you need to learn how to get mad. I was like, yo, I don't get mad. I don't really get mad like that, you know? Like, he was like, well, you need to learn. And he got mad at me for not getting mad. And it's like, why do I need to be angry? How does me being angry, yo, even in boxing, you would think that in boxing, anger is a good emotion to have. Even in boxing, it's a destructive, you know what's the best emotion, state of mind to have? Is to be calm. You know, because when you get angry, when someone punches you in your shit and you take that personally, you start swinging aggressively, trying to go for a knockout punch, missing all your punches probably. And now you've drained yourself of stamina. Now, when a person's trying to punch you back, you can't even react accordingly because you took one punch personally. And then because you took one punch personally, you spent the next 3.5 minutes just swinging, just trying to take them out because you're so mad that they caught you off guard. You know what I'm saying? And now your emotions are going to be the reason you lose the fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is anger? Give me one example when anger is ever a good emotion, that it ever brings out something good in you or the best in other people. You know what I'm saying? It destroys your day. And here's the thing about people. We're very reciprocal. If your day is ruined and you feel like someone intentionally did that to you, you know what your intention now is? To try to fucking ruin their day. You know what I'm saying? And now, you know, you're like, fuck it. Well, if I can't have a good day, nobody could have a good day. And you're just going to ruin everybody else's day. And you know what's crazy about life? You're either consciously or unconsciously making this world a better place or a worse place. Like, this world is either going to be better because you were born into it, or worse because you were born into it. So for me personally, you know what I'm saying? And you can live to whatever standard you want. I want this world to be better because I was born into it and not worse. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm obsessed with finding mentors or finding good books. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, you know how much I would cherish a person who tells me a good book that I could read that would make me a better person. You know how quickly I would put that on my to-do list to get the audio version of that book and start consuming the content. And you know what I'm saying? And picking apart what parts like make me better. Man, that'd be an amazing friend right there. You know, one time I shook hands with a man that makes like $350,000 a year. And I remember I told him, I was like, yo, you know, everybody thinks you're so fucking special just because you make $350,000 a year. I don't think you're special. You know, and I didn't say that like disrespectfully. I was just saying like, yo, you're no different than me. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that makes you different is you've acquired a skill set that makes you able to make $350,000 easily in a year. Right? It's a skill set. I'm not retarded. Like, I can't, it's not like I'm incapable of learning the same skill set that you've learned so that I could get the things that you've gotten. You know what I'm saying? Like Jim Rohn always says, you know, there's certain things that you want, but it's not accessible to you. You know, the things that you want are on the top shelf. In order for you to reach the top shelf, you have to stand on the books that you've read, because that's how you acquire the stuff that's not accessible to you. You know what I'm saying? People that have a poverty mindset, money is not accessible to them. And I've been broke as hell all my life, but I've never had a poverty mindset. That's for damn sure. I've never not believed that me having a lot of money was possible, or me being a millionaire was possible, or me, you know what I'm saying? Like, when people tell me ways to get money, I don't find 1,000 ways why it wouldn't work. Yeah, that's retarded. Like, I only need one reason why it would work for it to be applicable. You know what I'm saying? People be like, I could tell you 12 reasons why your plans are not gonna work. And it's like, are you crazy? I only need one reason for why it will. And it's like, yo, I got one reason, they got 12. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just crazy. So anyways, I got like 5 minutes left. So yeah, man. So I really don't believe the problem is that some girl broke my heart. You know what I'm saying? The problem is, why am I breakable? Why am I easily offended? Why does everybody bother me? Why am I annoyed? These are great questions to ask yourself. Because in asking those questions, you take the blame off other people. When you keep blaming people for why you feel the way you do, you're always going to feel the way you do. Because all it takes for you to have the feeling that you have, that you hate feeling, it's not even like you like feeling that way, and then you tell your story to everybody, you know, like, as you know, you tell a story that you're not proud to tell of why you are the way that you are. Oh, it's because my mother did this and my father did that. And then you continue being a product of your past. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of my favorite quotes says, there's a reason why your windshield is significantly bigger than your rear view mirrors, because where you're going matters so much more than where you've been. And people spend their whole time crashing in life because they drive looking at their rear view mirrors the whole time, obsessing over who did them wrong and what happened and why this, and why are people gossiping, and why are people talking badly about you? Yo, like, so many things in life are obvious. People are talking badly about you because they don't fucking like you. Like, what do you expect people that don't like you to do? They're going to talk badly about you. Why is that so surprising to you, that people that don't like you have negative things to say? Like, you know what I'm saying? Why is that such a shock? You know, why are you 37 and that's still a shock to you? How come the same things that shocked you when you were in 5th grade shock you now as a 37-year-old? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why are we not having these conversations? Like, you know, like, what do you expect people that don't like you to say about you? You know, and on top of that, on top of them not liking you, they don't even have nothing better else to do with their time. The highlight of their life is talking about you and talking about other people. Like, so what do you know, like, life is a numbers game, man. Like, a percentage of people are going to be gossipers. A percentage of people are going to be negative as hell. A percentage of people will never accomplish anything, will never live up to their full potential. And although I do believe in everybody's potential, I just know that life is a numbers game, that sometimes people just fall into the category of people that are always going to be a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with business opportunities, you show your business opportunity to 100 people, you might get 5 to join. The numbers never change, but the faces always do. You know what I'm saying? But the statistics don't change. You know what I mean? Like, you might be like, yo, why are people so selfish? Like life is a numbers game. A percentage of people are going to be that way. You know, you meet liars and you expect them not to lie. What do you expect from a liar besides for them to lie? Why are you so naive that you expect truth from a liar? You know, why do you think liars lie? Because you call them liars. So what are they supposed to do? They're supposed to lie. Like, you know what I'm saying? Once you acknowledge that somebody's a liar, why would you expect truth out of a liar? You've already acknowledged that what they are at the moment is a liar. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. We expect deceptive people to stop being deceptive. We expect rude people to be kind. We expect liars to tell the truth. We expect criminals to do shit legitimately. Like, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, like, I don't know, man. If I'm going to have any expectations, you know, I expect a criminal to behave the way a criminal would. You know what I'm saying? I expect a liar to tell me a lie. You know what I'm saying? I expect naive people to be naive. You know, I expect optimistic people to see the good in everything. You know, I expect pessimistic people to see the bad in everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, there's somebody in your life that you've known for 10 years and they've been pessimistic towards you and your dreams and your accomplishments or whatever for 10 years. And for 10 years, you're still asking, why do they see the negative in everything? Because they're fucking pessimistic. You know, if you read the definition of a pessimistic person, you would find their picture next to the description. Like, you know what I'm saying? Why 10 years later, you're surprised at behavior that they've been carrying on for. Now, I'm not saying these people don't have the power to change. Of course they could, but people have to want to change. Like, everything that I understand now, it came from me desperately wanting to change, man. Because there was a time that I didn't even like myself. Like, I didn't even, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't somebody that I was proud of. I didn't have qualities that was worth me doing podcasts about and talking about. Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have nothing to offer anybody. You know what I'm saying? Because I was alive for myself, you know? And in that place, I don't have nothing for you that's good. None of it's good. All of it is self-seeking. You know what I'm saying? Some of us, the only time you contact somebody is when you need money. The only time sometimes you contact with somebody is, you know how much it would mean to a person if you say happy birthday to them, if you say happy holidays, every time you got a flat tire, you know exactly who to call. You know what I'm saying? And then you wonder why people cut you off, because people are like, yo, like, the only reason you're holding on to me is for what you could get out of me. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. And people don't want to be around leeches. You know what I'm saying? So if the only time you know how to call somebody is when you need something, what do you bring to that relationship? You come into a relationship having something to need instead of having something to give. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to position myself to be able to give in every circumstance, in every relationship, because giving starts the process of receiving. You know, I've learned that one of the best ways for me to be selfish is to be selfless first for many years, to make it all about other people. And then maybe one day, maybe they'll make it all about me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe. But if not, whatever. Like, you know, I'm still going to operate this way because I feel like this is the best way to be, you know? So, and it's not so much that I'm doing certain things so that I could get a certain reaction or a certain response from people. But I know that since I'm sowing seeds of positivity, there's a good chance that I'm going to sow a fucking harvest of positivity because I'm sowing those type of seeds now. So it's inevitable. Like the laws of sowing and reaping, it just applies. You know what I mean? Sometimes we get mad at people that understand the laws of sowing and reaping, and we get mad at people that use it to their advantage. You're like, oh, the only reason you're doing good things is so good things could come back to you. And it's like, well, maybe that what you're saying is true about the person, or maybe it's not. But do the laws of sowing and reaping change just because they're conscious of the laws? You know what I'm saying? Because some people are unconsciously getting shit that they don't want. You know, some of you are putting so much negative energy into the world, and then you get surprised when you receive it. Like, why would you get surprised when you try to check somebody on their Facebook status and they tell you to go fuck yourself? Like, why is that surprising to you, considering what you said to them? Like, you know, you told them, man, I didn't think you would have an opinion like this. You're so stupid. I can't believe that that's your political view, or I can't believe that you agree with this. Man, I don't know if I want to be your friend. And, you know, so you say all that type of stuff to somebody, and then someone tells you, fuck off, kill yourself, and then you get surprised at their response. But yet you're not looking at what you said to them. Don't you think that maybe what you said to them triggered that type of response? Maybe they're just giving you back the same energy you gave them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, you don't put energy into the world and get so surprised, because like humans are very reciprocal in both ways. Like a lot of times you're going to get back the same energy you give back. You know what I'm saying? Like don't walk around punching people in the face thinking that you'll never get that in return, or someone's not going to shoot you in your face. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, so that's why for me personally, like I'm always consciously putting good energy into the world, because I know the laws of sowing and reaping, that's how it works. So if I sow a harvest of positivity, then that's the harvest that I'm going to reap. So that's why even when people are rude to me, I'm never rude back to them. I'm never, you know what I'm saying? I'm just kind, just loving, you know what I'm saying? Because me being rude to them, just because they're rude to me, that doesn't teach them a lesson. That doesn't straighten them out. That doesn't adjust them. If they're going to be a rude person, they're going to continue to be rude, whether I'm kind to them or not. You know what I'm saying? So, but if I'm kind to people and they're rude to me, like eventually psychologically it'll mess with them. It'll be like, yo, I can never get a reaction out of this person. I'm always trying to do this. I'm always trying to do that. And he's always calm. He's always patient. He's always, eventually that speaks to them more than you lecturing them. Sometimes the life that you live and the example that you set, that's what speaks to people the most. Much more than you having a 30-minute phone call with a person. You'd be surprised what your life says to people. You know what I'm saying? That's why some of you quote scriptures and no one's impressed with your doctrine, your scripture quoting. No one's impressed that you memorized the Bible. So fucking what? If you don't know how to love people, or you don't know how to, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing about you that's noteworthy that people say, damn, how can I get like that? You know what I'm saying? I had one guy tell me, yo, I don't know what you have, dude, but I want what you have. But the person who said this to me, they're not willing to do what I did to get what I have. See, because I had to read a lot of books. I had to listen to a lot of mentors. I had to listen to over 300 hours of lectures and other people talking about emotions and how to be emotionally stable. I've spent so much time working on myself. This is why that when I do these podcasts, I have so much to give to you. It's because I spent so much time giving to myself, so that, you know, my cup runneth over. And then all the stuff that you're receiving, it's not even coming out of my cup. It's like, you know, my cup is on a saucer and you're getting all the excess water. You know what I'm saying? You're getting in abundance because I flow out of abundance now. When I flowed out of scarcity, I didn't have nothing to give you because everything was life preservation. Like, you know, trying to preserve myself, trying to make sure I'm good. Like, I didn't have nothing for nobody, you know? But now that I flow out of abundance, I'm always going to have something to give. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't worry about my well running dry just because I'm giving water to people. You know what I'm saying? Because I have so much in me to give that I'm never going to be without. You know what I'm saying? Because I just have an abundant mindset instead of a scarcity mindset. So anyways, I said a lot. I actually got to go. I hope I said something edifying. I'm sorry for the curses. Hopefully next one will be more clean. And eventually, you know, it's going to be a day when I completely stop cursing. That'll be an amazing day. So love you guys and take care, man. See you on the next one.